Welcome to the Moms for America podcast. Each week, we introduce you to special guests who share their personal stories and advice on how to build a strong foundation of faith, family, and freedom in their home, community, and country. Hi, moms. I'm Debbie Curlitis, your host. Thank you once again for joining us on the Moms for America podcast. Every week, we gather together to inspire, encourage, and educate moms in our journey through motherhood. We believe that liberty begins at home and that you moms, boy, you've got the best, most precious job in the entire world because you are raising the next generation. What a gift that is. Right on the top of the show, I do want to let you know about today's discussion before we get into a little bit of our business and our talk with her. I met this beautiful mama last week as she spoke at our Moms for America press conference in Washington, D.C. She is a former Miss World Columbia and a mother of 4. She joins us today to discuss the blatant liberal attacks that are trying to destroy our parental rights. Because of her love for her children and for America, she became an activist fighting for life and freedom while also defending her children and opposing the tyrannical mandates. She will have some great insight for us today, so stay with us. She'll be joining in just a few minutes. But before we get started, I want to take care of a little bit of business between you and I. All right, for those of you that are joining us for the very first time, I want to invite you to visit our website, which is momsforamerica.us. Again, that's momsforamerica.us. Check out all of our amazing resources, our events, and our programs. When you stop by, please sign up for our weekly newsletter. This is how we stay connected. Also, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff with our podcast. We are on all the formats now. We're on YouTube, Rumble, and the Charisma Podcast Network. And we also post our podcast on our website, which again is momsforamerica.us. We would appreciate it if you share because we really believe that these podcasts have some very, very important information that will inspire and encourage moms all across the country. We believe that moms, you are the ones that are truly going to save our country for our kids. So here we go. Catalina Stubbe is a former Miss World Columbia. She's an actress and a fashion model. She's just absolutely gorgeous. She grew up in Colombia in the middle of a war between 2 drug cartels. She came to America because she wanted to live the American dream. Catalina is very outspoken about her faith, her love of freedom, and the importance of the precious nuclear family. She is really an amazing woman, and we are so glad to have her on the Moms for America podcast. I'm just thrilled to welcome you. Catalina, welcome. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you, Debbie. That was a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much. You cannot believe how thankful I am for organizations like you, for moms like you that are really organizing other moms and make our voice heard and to let know that moms, we are not alone.
That's right.
Are all in the same page. And we're trying just to defend and raise the right way our children.
Right. That's the heart of every mama. Before we get chatting, I want to just talk a little bit about your family. Moms love to meet the other moms. Tell us about your family, your kids, and you actually have a ranch. You have a ranch out there in California?
I have a ranch. I have a ranch. I am here in South Florida. And I have a ranch, which I do mostly competitions, rodeo competitions. We had a team. They are second place nationwide. It's amazing. My kids are growing up in the middle of a farm. We also have a cow, even bull. And my kids play with the bull. It's amazing. And goats and chickens, and it's cute.
Wow.
It's a beautiful mess.
I love that because that's how I kind of feel how my house is sometimes, just a beautiful mess, right? But we do. And if it's not messy, then there's nothing going on. That's how I always feel like. So I'm good with a little bit of mess, right?
That's correct.
And your kids love it, I bet, huh?
My kids always enjoy here, even when it's very hot, when it's rainy. You have to actually be always available for the animals because they are obviously depending on us. So my kids learn the way how to be responsible, how to live with the animals. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to raise kids in the outdoors. They are far from technology, cell phones, and we are very grateful for everything God brings us every day.
Amen. That is so true. All right. So let's talk a little bit about this. When did you know you wanted to maybe come to America? And what was your hopes and dreams of coming to this country?
Well, I live in Bogota my entire life, and I grew up in the middle of this war between these two cartels in Colombia. It was really a war because I remember one night, listen from my window in my room, 9 bombs exploding around
Wow.
us.
Wow.
And every day my mom say, just in the breakfast, be grateful because you are alive. It's not our turn. And God put us
How old were
here
you?
for a purpose.
How
That's
old were you?
hard. That's hard
How
because
how old were you at this
9
point?
years old. It was
9 years old.
it was 1989.
Wow.
And you are in elementary school. You have to be informed every day of the news. You have to watch the news. Every night we were like, what is happening
Unreal.
today? What is happening tomorrow? You have to be in the house by 9. And many people think that it's only the FARC. It's only the drug cartels, but it was a huge civil war in Bogota. And I remember from my school, through the school bus to my house, it take me 1 hour every day, go and back and forth. And I remember that day, my school miraculously was late. After the school, we went in, and it was late. I don't know why. The thing is, in the route were a lot of traffic. Then when I arrived at home, I saw they took a deviation. It is another route, different route. So when I went home, I turned on the TV. There were a bomb exploding in exactly the same moment that was passing. I am passing there. So I'm
you
like,
were spared.
oh my God,
You were
God
spared.
saved me just for a few minutes before. My only reason, my only thoughts at that moment is I don't want my kids. I want to form a family. I don't want my kids growing up in this country. This is not going to have a solution, immediately solution. So for my generation, we were all looking out.
And America is where you want. And America was where you wanted to go.
Yes, and it was either America, either Europe. At that point, when you're young, you don't know exactly what is socialism, communist. You don't think about, you just simply think about saving your life and think about security for you and your future family. So I end up making all my university studies in La Sorbonne de Paris in France. And when I finished my studies, I met with this handsome American guy, and then life.
Love does this to us, right? Love does this to us. Brought you to America.
Exactly. Obviously, I never look for another country like Venezuela I look for a countries that it's supposed to be life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the American dream is obviously that specifically way to live. It's supposed to be developing yourself and creating a business, creating a happy family with security. And so obviously I was looking for that.
Beautiful, beautiful story. Well, you've built an amazing life here in America. And I know that you love the freedoms in America. You love what America gives and what it was built on and what it promises and what it gives for our children, right? Our children's hopes and dreams. And your message that you're speaking out a lot around the country is the attack on parental rights, right? So now you have a beautiful family you're raising here, and you see the government overstepping, overreaching, over messaging, and really undermining you as a parent. What is your message, and what is concerning you most about these attacks on our parental rights?
That's correct. So obviously government want to co-parenting with us, the parents. God give us that beautiful privilege and
Right.
all the rights that come with. And I don't want to co-parenting with the government. I don't
Right.
need another parent to raise my kids. And
Right.
my kids, obviously my kids, my choice. And
Right.
in all subject of my kids.
Right.
I understand that not all parents in this world are the perfect parents, or
Right.
they cannot have the meanings to raise their kids. In that cases, maybe government can come and help, but create mandates and
Right.
create. I don't think pushing vaccine on kids, how can that help? Because it's proven that it doesn't work, that it
Right.
doesn't make the purpose of they are supposed to be. So obviously, I don't want any mandates on my kids. I want
Right.
freedom to raise my kids.
No mandates, absolutely. And in the schools, this has become a big issue with you as well. What is happening in the schools? And you've gone up to your schools and you've had discussions with your principals and with your teachers. And what are you seeing as far as what's happening in the schools?
At schools is all the schools in America. When I
It
say
sure
all
is.
schools, it means public and private and Catholic schools are having the same pushing agenda from the left.
Right.
And it's very sad because it's not something that is new. It's something that is happening from decades ago.
Right.
And obviously now it's impressive how they're pushing their agenda without even hiding, without even, it's openly. We can see books with pornography. We can see kids that have been taught Marxism educations, openly the transgender agenda. They are confusing our kids. They
Right.
are, I never imagined in my childhood being supported by a teacher telling me, yeah, that's good. You're so brave because you're bisexual. Uh, it's obviously this supporting thing
Right.
with our children is their agenda. They should
Right.
not be supporting a confusing child. And we are seeing the real consequence directly on our children.
Right. The government, the schools, everyone has gotten way over their skis on what their role is, right? We want them to help educate our children with a good education, not to indoctrinate them with agendas that should not be in schools. Let's talk about the Florida Parental Right Education Bill. This is what's happening in your state. It's gotten a lot of publicity around the country. The bill states that classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through third grade, or in a manner that is not age appropriate. This really is a bill that is trying to protect parents so we don't have to wonder what is happening at school when our kids go to kindergarten on what they're presenting to them. Is that correct? And tell us about what's happening in Florida with this bill.
That's correct. This bill was changed by the left, and they pushing like that don't say gay bill, which is like no that name. It doesn't have that name. It doesn't even say nowhere in this bill that it's don't say gay bill. So basically, we are trying to protect our children under 9 years old, and because why you have to teach children that you can change your sex, that you can support transgender and the changing, and do not embrace what God give you naturally. they are denying the nature of God. God made you a woman or a man for a purpose, for a reason, and it doesn't exist any other gender. Obviously, the left want to push that because it's one main reason. It's to destroy the family society as a family base, and the consequences are real, and a lot of high school made protest, and the principals agree with that because it's supposed to give free speech to the kids, but none of these kids knew about this law, knew about this bill. None of these kids were even read. The only thing they heard is like, oh, you cannot have this class today if you go to the protest. Well, obviously all the kids want to do not have class simply and go like hang out with the peers. But this went far from normally goes a normal protest in a school. Even a young man was thrown out from a second floor and broke his arm. Many children were blood in their faces. They started jumping
very
in the cars
aggressive
of the teachers.
Wow.
It's like craziness when you allowed kids to, just go ahead and protest like your way. There is no any guideline to protest. If I was me, I will say as a principal, that's great that you want to protest. So please read the bill, present me an essay, and what are your points do you want to protest? And I will give you my microphone and you will have the voice and peacefully learn all together.
Right.
They simply decide to give these kids that they don't have any idea of what is going on to just simply go and protest their way.
Right. So it's agitated a community. They're agitating the students, and the students are reacting. This is causing a lot of confusion and misunderstanding. I in general, when I talk to moms, whether they're conservative or liberal or in the middle, I think they just feel like gender discussion and gender identity should be something that should be handled in the home. That is a personal message that you're working through with your child. This is not anything that the government should be doing. The school should be providing.
It's a personal decision.
Under 9 years old. This to me is a parent issue from day one. Whatever's happening in your household, it's a parent issue. So what you're seeing is just a complete breakdown of what the bill really is. And really what it was trying to do is just saying, parents, you have the right. The children are protected. This is not going to be happening in the schools. And you have the right basically to know, right, isn't it? Because it's supposed to be appropriate and developmentally appropriate. And a lot of this is just not appropriate to be discussing with kindergartners, right?
What they're forgetting is that we have real problems in our schools. Right. And they are focusing on simple things like transgender, inclusiveness. And so as a Latina, and my kids are very Latinos and very looking Latinos, I never felt excluded of anything. I cannot say there is a country more inclusive than United States. They give me the opportunity to raise my kids the way I want. It's beautiful the way everyone has opened the door to me. And I knew all Latinos and any other race and color of skin because I have Indian friends and I have African American. I never heard about you are apart or you really have a problem with that. However, that I'm hiding real problems in our society regarding our kids.
Right.
For example, one of them is the fatherless situation. The society and the government made everything possible to support only single parents and not the family as a nuclear society for and obviously needed so much for our society. What I'm meaning is they give money, they give everything. If you're a single mom, oh, by the way, if you have a husband or a boyfriend, then you don't have this help. Well, what is thinking is like what they understand is just simply I have to be single to have the co-parent. Actually, they
Right.
allowed all the rights to government. They don't know, but they are giving all the rights to the government to decide over your kids.
Right.
And
Too
consequence
much.
of that is
Right.
criminality, is
Right.
drugs.
Right.
And you can as a mom, you need to know that in every single school in America, public, private, Catholic, existing drugs
Right.
from
A huge
from
problem.
middle school to high
Yes.
school and in college. They have from vaping
Right.
to any kind of drugs and little drugs, any kind. They have any kind of drugs. School no, and they are not doing anything.
Right. We have a
They are
drug
ignoring the
epidemic.
real problems.
Yes. We have suicides. We have drug epidemics. We have fentanyl coming in. We have so many issues, violence. I mean, we have so many issues in the school that it is kind of shocking that we have made, talking to kindergartners about sexual options and identity a focus when the schools has so much to do, because we really are looking for the school to educate. That is really our main focus. And what have you done with your school? What are some ideas that parents can do and get involved with their school? I know you've shared a couple of stories with me, Catalina.
Definitely. You have to realize that you have to get involved with your kids. The school doesn't have to take care of your kid only, but the academics. Everything else you have to take care of your children. The values, the how to talk socially with the peers, how to choose a friends, how to say no to drugs, sexuality, and all these personal choices are made at home.
That's right.
As a parent, you need only a few minutes of your time. You don't have to be in every single meeting from school or with the teacher or communicating. It's not like a police over your children, but have real talks with your children.
That's right.
Because if not,
the school will.
Government,
the government will.
are going to teach your children in any other way. Either you talk with your children and you educate your children, either someone else is going to make it.
Right. We talked about that, right? The influencers are influencing our children on every level, whether it's the phone, which is a whole other discussion, but media, all this stuff. The influencers are influencing our children, and we as moms, we as dads, we as families, we have to be the greatest influencer with our children. We have to raise strong children. What has worked for you? How do you work that into your life? What would you some advice to the moms? How do you work in your thoughts and your ideas? Is it at the kitchen table? Is it driving in the car? Is it walking around the block? Is it at night when you pray with them? What do you do, Catalina?
So my priority for my kids in my life is God. Definitely, I think you need a guide in your life. Everyone need that in their lives. So for me, it's very easy. I get into the car, dropping my kids at the school bus stop. And for 5-10 minutes, I read the Bible every day, every single day to them, and a little passage. So like, for example, the day before, I just choose, there is many sites that teach you how to teach your kids, either the Psalms, either the wisdom books, which is Psalms, the Proverbs, or Matthew. It's a beautiful way to teach your children. And then start with the right way that Jesus teaches us how to talk with God is our Father, and then you start also talking about the Hail Mary, full of grace, and so my kids even know the routine. I go there, I park the car, and they start like, in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, amen. Our Father. They know what to do. So I'm like, wait, kids, I have to look for the Bible. Then I take the Bible and then I read 2-3 minutes to them. And they actually enjoy, because you create a routine in them every day. You don't have the time every morning, do it at night, at bedtime, during after the meal. Take 5 minutes. You need only 5-10 minutes, but I think God. Then after
instill
God,
that in them. Instill that in them. Yes,
it's going to make
hearts.
an effect. Even if they are
100%.
not listening to you, even if they are rolling the eyes on you, even they're like,
as they always do, a little of the eye roll, right?
It works. It works because sometimes the little ones get very interesting because they want to learn, and they're very open to learn. They are very open mind. Other thing is, look for every detail in your children, even the music they are heard. If you allowed satanic music, why you don't tell them there is a lot of music to praise God, even country music, even and very active music. Even there is a on Pandora, I can find a group of music that say workout Christian music. It's amazing. No, listen, it's amazing.
There
they make you move. It's not only the typical thing that you think, really Christian music. I put it, they don't even know that I put it. And when you repeat those songs every time, they at the end of the story, they love these songs.
Amen. And it just kind of falls over you, that good worship music, that good Christian music. Because lyrics are so important, right? Because we put that in our mind. Anything we put in our mind, we start adopting kind of into our thought process. And music and praying with our kids and speaking truth to them and helping them really think through all these issues that are coming at them at record speed. We have to be the greatest influencer. We have to be praying with them. We have to be teaching them and being them.
And you, their friends, at least take the time to talk with your children. And what do you talk with your friends? Who is your friend? What they are doing? They do sports after school. They do what they eat, what they like, how they dress up. Do you have a favorite friend? It's important to know their friends, because from their friends and the friendship comes the drugs, comes the bad influence, comes the confused conversations that they don't even know. And so it's super important to know at least 1, 2, or 3 friends from your children. If you can follow them on Instagram, on Snapchat, and there is a lot of application that controls time on the phone, on the cell phone of your kids. Don't allow your kids passing hours and hours on TikTok, Snapchat, or Instagram. It's not healthy for them. They are wasting their time. They are learning other things. They are following the trend. So be aware that you probably can allow them to have that. You cannot. I mean, it's like no, you cannot just deny everything on that. But you can guide them, and you can just put controls on that. Just 1 hour. Talk to them. Do you need 1 hour? I'm going to give you 1 hour. Do you need 2 hours? For what? Exactly. What are you doing? What is the way you communicate? Also, do you think it's a little detail, but to cursing, to when you allow your children to say bad words, in the kingdom of God, you don't say bad words. No. You have to teach them how to dress, how to address people, how to talk, how to put makeup, what do you want your pink hair? There is other shades that probably are good for you. I don't know, talk to them and
Right.
find a middle point, but do not allow just simply because you don't want to get this discussion with them.
Right.
You
I mean,
don't have to.
parenting, right. Parenting is not for the weak at heart. I mean, all of these issues all along in their development, right? We just have to constantly be guiding them. And we have to, and I'm just saying this to you moms, and I know this is what Catalina is basically saying. You are the mom, you are the parent, you are the one that has to make these decisions with them. And you have to really figure this out piece by piece with them strongly, with God's direction and with God's prayerful consideration. Because I kind of feel like I've just really started out pretty strong on everything. And as a parent, I can always back up if I want to, but we've been very strong with phones and social media and all that stuff. We kind of just say, we're starting here. And then we can, in my mind, I can always back up, but we want to just hold the line because there's just so much. These kids are not even prepared. They cannot even fathom what's coming at them with these phones and this culture. That's what you're saying. I mean, we have
Actually,
to just be.
if you really don't have the time because you have to travel, because you cannot do it, you cannot make it, ask for help. There is always a grandma, a grandpa. There is always a sister, an uncle, a neighbor. Talk to them. Say, listen, I think I'm losing my children.
A youth
my
pastor at the church. Yes, youth pastors at the church. Youth groups.
Many ways. Even the I don't know if that is a good idea, but sometimes you can find good people in their schools of your children's. Sometimes, because I say when
sometimes there's great mentors. Yeah.
When they also sometimes, I don't know, but here it's some weird stuff happening in the schools that they are enjoying kids that they are weak or they are mentally abandoned or they don't have, they're confused and they want to indoctrinate them right away.
Right.
And instead of helping them, instead of having a clear conversation with their parents, they just simply say, "Oh, that's an opportunity. One more for us."
Right. We do have to be very careful because not everybody has different agendas. And like you said, I just want my kids, whoever I'm asking to mentor them or be a speaking hope and truth into their lives. I mean, for me, the church and youth groups are usually a great place to start as well, too. But we need prayerful consideration. Too. Right. The more we have them active.
Talk to their coach.
You're right. We had a great coach with our son that was just a wonderful mentor on many levels. So as parents, I think bottom line is, right, we just have to be prayerfully looking at who God is placing in our children's lives and who would be safe, who would be good counsel, and who would be a good role model for them. So,
but we need to do that job. We cannot ignore or just simply allow government to do their job. No,
that's it.
It's not their job. We are not co-parenting with them.
We are not co-parenting. There you go. That's the bottom line. Thank you, Catalina. We are not co-parenting with the government. Out. You are not, you're not raising my kids. And
you're not raising my kids.
Yes. Exactly. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for all that wonderful advice and your story. And I know that moms were inspired here today to get involved and to feel motivated. I believe that your speech, just even in Washington, D.C. was so motivating because you just asked moms to be engaged, to be in the fight, to know what's happening, and to know most of all that those are your children and
my
those
children,
are the most
my
precious
choice.
Kids. That's it. My children, my choice. Thank you, Catalina. I appreciate you coming by the Moms for America podcast. It was wonderful talking with you. And for everyone else out there, make sure you stop by our website at momsforamerica.us. Again, we have the cottage meetings there. That is just a great project. It's our signature project. There's 12 inspiring lessons there that will help mothers learn about America's history and heritage. I know a lot of the moms are listening going, I don't know exactly how to, teach my children. Well, our cottage meeting series will help you. It will help you learn the principles of liberty and help you build a foundation of freedom in your family and your community, because you moms, this is your family. This is your world you're raising your kids in, and you are going to help save our country and raise the next generation of patriots. So again, momsforamerica.us, thanks so much for joining us. Let's keep changing our world one home at a time. God bless you, moms. And I will
Thank
see
you. Thank
soon.
you, Debbie, so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Catalina.